See how we go. It's been a little while. Good evening and welcome to the Joust Presents Mad Mondays. I wanted to wait till Daryl kicked in there, but he did take a little while.
Look, Daryl is really not in a rush. He's embracing summer.
Yeah, and as aren't we all, Liam?
Yes, we have the door open today,
this
Nagy.
is really a good afternoon, and welcome to the Mad Mondays because we're doing a bit of an earlier evening.
It's quite something. It's amazing. I haven't seen the sun in days.
I know, but because of this harsh country that we live in, Liam, harsh in many ways, but mostly from you and I, from good Catholic Christian
Irish
stock, with Irish skin, that wasn't made for these temperatures at all.
No,
But-
I went for a swim for 15 minutes yesterday and I took some sun.
Yeah,
I got a bit burnt.
I was going to say you looked a bit pink.
Yeah,
I thought
15 minutes.
I thought it might have been the alcohol.
That's not helping. I mean, the two play into each other and play off each other.
Yeah, quite well. One goes with the other. I put sunscreen. I was out in the sun for quite an extended period, and it was like I got to remember to really be vigorous with sunscreen.
You got to slip, slop, slap, and wrap.
And then I forgot to put it on. I was wearing an open shirt, and then I got the triangle.
You and your sexy open shirt,
I
Snaggy.
know. I gotta
It's
be-
terrible. It's never ending with you.
Look, it's not the first time that being too sexy in public has just done me astray. I really got to remember that when I leave the house. Now, try not to be so damn free-loving and sexy.
I
with
know,
your open shirts.
you're affecting all of us.
It was one button. It was a perfect triangle too. But who wants to if you're wearing a shirt, you're wearing a shirt. But we're unfortunately due to the weather, and we're very fortunate that we've just opened it up. We're getting a bit of the old breeze happening. How do you cope with the heat? I know there's been some hot nights. The summer's really arise. The whole December, it was like we were sort of managing, and then now January's come. And
No, I had a shower yesterday. I had a cold shower.
Yeah.
And the cold water wasn't cold enough.
yeah.
I was sweating in a cold shower.
Yeah, there was a report earlier today that it was that the parts of the Hume Highway you have to keep left because the right's melting for a 10K stretch. That's a tired road.
What a silly country.
Yeah, it's stupid.
So I always love when I read packaging of things that I buy and it says, please store under 30 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
In summer, I don't have that option.
No, you
I
can't.
have deodorant cans just popping in my room.
Yeah. Well, you can't keep them in the fridge.
No.
You know what I mean? Anything
No.
pressurized, you can't just put it in the fridge.
Oh, goodness no. But then also, if you spray it on yourself and it's cold, you'll do yourself a little mischief, I think.
You get a little whoo, as you
Yeah.
go under each arm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you when you put deodorant on? Do you ever do the because there's sometimes this might shock you, Liam, but I might not plan. I might be rushing to get out of the house a little bit.
This
And
does shock me, Nagy. You're
you-
very well planned.
if when you button your shirt up and you've forgotten to put the deodorant on.
Up under.
Would you go up under, or
Up
do you
under.
do you undo one button and just sort of commando?
Actually, no, if it's a button up, I undo and go in.
yeah.
But otherwise, if it's t-shirt, just up under.
Because that's really you get a little glimpse of there's a fly in here. There's
That's with the door open.
This
you
is the
see.
door. This is the nature. This is that we've never had when we've had a closed door shoot. But when you're going in blind, this is what you can feel like. If you had to really use that seventh sense of yours, to find out where's your armpit.
I haven't even got the other six working all right.
Yeah. So it's and you just got to sort it around. Not to mention if there's a roll on one, you really got to get in there. Yeah.
Who
it was-
uses roll-on now, though?
I've got an emergency
Really?
roll on. Yeah.
Oh.
If I can't find where I've put my spray,
That's disgusting.
is it?
Well,
I don't share it.
know.
If I was here's my roll-on deodorant. This has happened once before. Actually, I was away on a trip, and it was a Bucks party, and I forgot to bring deodorant because you're on a flight and you don't want to. And then, and a friend of mine was like, "Oh yeah, you can use my deodorant." I'm like, "Great, where is it?" And he's like, "Here it is," and it was just a stick roll-on one,
Oh,
and it wasn't even it was just I was like,
that's
and
disgusting.
I still used it though.
Because they always have one little armpit hair caked on, and you never know if it's a pube or not. and-
Yeah. Who knows where they've been putting these, deodorant sticks? Because you only in the end, the
In
deodorant
their
stick.
anus, perhaps.
You're
They've
not
got
going
a
to.
stinky ass.
Well, that's it. You're only going to put it in stinky areas.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose of it. Because you're never going to put it in an area that's never going to be the top of my hand needs some deodorant. But you need that when you put aftershave, it sort of goes around
Yeah,
there too.
on the wrist.
On the wrist. But you never really aftershave your genitals. Or do you?
If you got a big date, yes. Why not? They got to smell good.
Yeah, you got to give them.
Sweaty down there.
You got to give them every chance.
Yeah.
Now, Liam, it's been a little while between drinks.
It has.
Well,
Not between drinks.
No.
But between us drinking and talking into a microphone.
Yes.
That's been a while between that.
The microphones, yeah, but,
Yeah.
but as we always often do with the celebrating Mad Mondays, what are we celebrating? this
Well, today we're celebrating a big one. Now, today, on this day in the year 877, Louis the Stammerer
Yeah.
was crowned king of the West Frankish kingdom of Compiègne. Now, Louis the Stammerer got this throne
Yeah.
from his father, Charles the Bald. Now, aren't they just wonderful names?
week? Yeah,
Charles the Bald and his son Louis the Stammerer.
Yeah, I wonder
How's
if
that for your self-esteem? You're going to be king of the country. Let's name you after your crippling speech impediment.
If I
Plus,
was-
your dad was bald, you dick. What kind of terrible people are the people of the West Frankish kingdom of Compiègne?
Yeah, I tell you, if that was me and I like had a terrible stammer, and I'm like, Christ, they got to give me that stammer nickname. I'd be like, just I don't know, dancing all the time, or I'll hop out of the room.
Nagy the dancer.
Yeah, it'd be like Nagy the dancer, and it'd be like so nicer than the stammerer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, surely these people could have like a bit more of like, because it's like the mad or the stammerer. It's always these
Yeah.
terrible things. Should be like, hey, I'm in charge here. Like, can you give me some?
Well, that's
fucking
it. He's
respect?
the king of the country. Does he not, have the power to say, look, you call me Louis the Stammerer. I'm
Yeah.
gonna hang you up by your neck
What is it-
until you stop calling me Louis the bloody Stammerer.
Yeah, why can't it be? I could be Louis the top bloke. Louis.
If I was the king of a country, I'd be Liam the enormous dickhead and hugely popular.
Yeah. Why can't it be like Louis the I often shout drinks? Like, which I'm sure he does because he's the king.
He's the king.
He's the king. I'm sure.
He
there's
probably gets them for free, so he wouldn't shout them.
Well, I suppose.
I don't know. What would yours be, though? Nagy the
Let's not get
impotent?
the disappointing. Never lived up to expectation.
Nagy the syphilitic? I'm just kidding, Cassie. He's
Yeah.
been tested. He's clean.
Yeah, thank God. For the testing, I mean.
Oscar Wilde died of syphilis.
Yeah, apparently.
Didn't Edgar Allan Poe as well?
I think a lot of them did, and you see, I think it was Oscar Wilde that just often covered his mouth when talking, because they believe that it was his teeth were all stained from mercury, because one of the ways of curing syphilis back in the day was drinking mercury.
Weren't people in the past dickheads?
Dumb, weren't they just dumb? They were just dumb.
Isn't that weird though? It's like it's syphilis. It's a thing you get. You get a quick pill now, and it clears up and you move on. It used to kill people.
Oh yeah. But yeah, apparently, yeah. I'm not sure why mercury though. I think they thought it was like a miracle cure for everything.
Yeah,
mercury,
Isaac
but-
Newton died drinking mercury.
Yeah. Well, I think it was. I heard it was also a cure for constipation as well. So I guess it is.
Well, yeah, because when you die, your body evacuates the bowels.
so I guess you
the
get
constipation's cured, but you're dead.
you get there in the end.
Yeah.
You get there. Like the problem. It's like the doctor or like the I don't know, the wise man or whatever the case might have been at the time. He's like, I can clear those bowels for you, as long as you're willing to do anything.
And
And you go, well, yes, I'm been blocked up for days, and then sure enough, he says,
well, you
drink this, you'll be pain free soon.
for the rest of your life. It was very short. It'd be mere minutes.
Minutes of,
Yeah.
but yeah, I suppose you get the relief.
Actually, probably be very painful dying from mercury poisoning, though.
Yeah. I don't know. The only experience I've had with mercury is the old thermometers. But
In high school, yeah, and you smash them.
what happens when you smash them?
Well, you can handle the mercury.
Oh, really?
Obviously, it's highly toxic, so you shouldn't, but we did it once or twice.
Yeah.
I believe they replaced the mercury because too many kids were smashing it to play with the mercury.
What is it like? Is it like a sort of?
It's like a heavy water, but bright silver.
That sounds
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it was all right.
It sounds nice as a child.
It wasn't the funnest thing we did in science. That was probably when we were dissecting rats.
You
That
actually
was
did that?
fun. Yeah,
when
yeah.
I used to see this in like things in school, like when I'm watching like Malcolm in the Middle or something like that, and they're
Nagy
like,
never went to school. He
No.
has to learn everything from pop culture.
I went to
about school.
what are those schools called? That was
Steiner schools.
Steiner school to a Steiner school. What do they do?
He never learned to read.
Isn't that new way of learning? Like
No, it's a lot of it's very focused on creativity and independence for children.
Yeah, neither of which I have. Yeah. So you actually dissected rats?
Yeah, and then we dissected the rat, and then the teacher left the room, and so we were playing around with the rats and their innards.
Were they? They were dead, obviously.
They were dead, but the funny thing, if you dissected it, you put the mouth around the sink, turn the sink on, fill up like a water balloon.
Jesus Christ.
Well, what were they thinking, giving a room full of 16-year-old boys a bunch of dead
Dead
rats?
rats.
That was stupid.
Yeah.
It was their own bloody fault. We did a frog too.
And a frog. I thought
I
these
think
were.
we did a frog.
I thought these were just creations from like American
No.
pop culture. That it's like, oh, you can do this in biology. I'm
No,
sure.
our science in high school was everything I had been led to believe and more. Like we used to burn shit, cut animals open, make chemicals. It was awesome.
Yeah, right.
It was brilliant.
You should have become a scientist.
I would have been a terrible scientist.
Terrible scientist. It's like everything is just scientists. Like, it's in that like clinical setting with a Bunsen burner and like a white coat and just pouring various liquids into beakers.
Yeah.
Which
Well, that was the other thing. We learned how to turn Bunsen burners into flamethrowers.
How did you do this?
You just
What
got to
kind of
know how to
school did you go to?
you just got to know how to regulate how much gas goes in and out of the tap.
Right.
And once you work out how to fiddle with it to get max gas, you can just turn it on and.
Like you wear that and then lift it up and then turn it again. Like
I don't remember how
like
we
an
did
Allen
it,
key?
but yeah, we had some pretty large flames in our science classes.
Your teacher must have been just very relaxed.
Oh, the whole faculty was very relaxed.
What school was it?
St. Pius.
St. Pius. Yeah, right. They, my crappy school didn't have any of that. Like we
Didn't
still
have Bunsen burners?
No, they had Bunsen burners,
Okay.
but it's like I don't know. That just seems way too dangerous to be given to children anyway.
Oh, yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah. I talked about it with a friend of mine, Tim Buchan. He was the guy that I pulled the chair back on.
Yes,
The chair, yeah, and then he returned favor. He returned serve, the next term by heating a spoon over the Bunsen burner and burning my elbow.
Oh, you did that on your elbow? Oh, no.
It was like the because
Because we used to do that to people's books, but you do it with a 20-cent coin.
Yeah.
And if you held it in long enough till it was red hot, it will burn clean through the book.
just like
Yeah.
straight through.
Yeah. Sometimes into because we had those plastic chairs as well.
Please
You drop it onto the chair, it'd melt
Melt
into
it.
the chair.
I thought you were going to say sometimes into chicks. Then I was like,
No, no. We'd have been imprisoned.
But you're giving children opportunities to do these things. Like when
Yeah.
you're like, here's a flame, don't burn anything or heat anything up inappropriately. Of course, you got to do it.
We did, but no one got hurt. Remarkably, no one got hurt.
But maybe they did, and they just no one told anyone. Because once you've
Maybe some people got hurt.
it's that thing.
Actually, I remember one kid got hurt once, but I can't remember what happened.
It's probably you involved, and you've blocked it out of your
The
mind.
kid, I got bonked on the scone.
Scone bonds.
I can't remember.
The whole school experience is pretty much just waiting to get injured next. You know, there was another child at my school. I remember playing this game. You run up and you see how high you could touch up on the wall. This is a common
high
game.
wall touch.
High wall touch.
Yeah.
Great game. And there was a window with a brick ledge sort of off the windowsill. So people were starting to run up and like put a foot on that and get even higher.
Uh-huh.
And a fellow attempted to do this by the name of Matt Hume.
Yumi.
Hume.
Classic Hume.
Classic Hume. Because he
And bloody melting in his right lane.
slipped on the slipped on the windowsill and put his arm through the window.
What an idiot.
I'm not sure if Liam. I'm not sure
Sorry,
if you've
Hume.
ever seen a someone cut underneath their arm,
No.
but it bleeds quite a bit. I'm gonna warn you now.
Oh.
It was it was a helicopter call. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We had Fight Club at school for a while.
Was that after the movie came out?
I don't think any of us had seen the movie. We just had boxing matches before school. I was always late. I slept in every day.
You still sleep in now?
Well, yeah, so that's where it all started. I've basically been late to school every day since I was born and went
Yeah.
to school. But then before school, obviously you'd have two guys each bring a pair of boxing gloves
Yeah.
and they'd make a boxing ring out of wooden benches and
Right.
then just a couple of boys going to town.
Really?
I remember Jordan Fox got punched very, very hard, maybe by Ruben,
Yeah.
and had to go to homeroom in the morning with his half his face split open and covered in blood.
I can't imagine these things happening. You went to the school that I saw on television, and I went to the school that I was
Which is
just
funny because it was a
wanted
good Catholic school. There was bins lit in fires and
to.
food
This is
fights.
exciting.
and-
It sounds like every school, like every day was a new
Yeah.
episode of like a cool show.
Yeah,
you know,
it was.
But sorry, that was the fly on the thing. But for me, it was like this sort of like I went to school for a while. It stopped, and I looked back, and I'd still watch these school shows when I'd finish going to school, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's exciting! I hope that happens when I'm. Oh, it's all done now."
The funniest one we had, now this, to this day, makes me giggle whenever I think about it, was around the lunch area. It was a large concreted area. There was a row of benches with a second row inside.
Yeah.
And we'd each sit, in groups of 10 or so on the train track row of benches with our bags sitting in the middle, forming a pile, if you will.
Bag
And then
pile, yeah.
every once in a while, someone would stand in between the two rows of benches
Betwixt.
to speak to the people on each side of the rows of benches.
Yeah.
And then what you do is you get one more person to surreptitiously sneak up behind them and push them
them
onto the
over.
pile of bags. And then you'd rip all the bags out from under them and just start hitting them with the bags.
Yeah,
Like
violent.
using the straps as a kind of handle. So you're hitting them with these bags. They're all full of books because we
Yeah.
had 7 periods a day.
That's right.
So you got a shitload of books. Half of us had those really hard plastic lunch boxes and stuff.
Yeah.
That really hurt when we used to do that. It was funny though.
That ever happened to you?
Oh yeah, got bagged.
Okay.
Yeah, got bagged a couple of times.
It's yeah. Well,
I got shoes stolen once too.
what did you do when you lost one shoe?
No, they took both of them.
Oh, you got shoes stolen.
Yeah, so
'Cause
I
if
had to go to class and say to my teacher, they've nicked my shoes.
Yeah, I'm currently wearing much smaller thongs.
She
than-
called me an idiot. Told me to go look for them.
In her defense, you are.
Yeah, true.
I'm currently wearing much smaller thongs, so I had a blowout on New Year's Eve.
Oh, no.
And it snapped, and I was like, well, and I was in a bit of a huff, so I threw them both out. Well, I threw the first one out, and then I was like, well, I've got to throw the other one out too. Just can't buy one thong. Those bloody
No, you
shoemakers.
can't.
Those shoemakers are making.
It's a
fortune.
racket.
Yeah, that's shoemaker. I just want one.
Wouldn't
What?
that be a good company idea if you just make replicas of other brands' shoes and sold them as singles?
Replacements.
Yeah, replacements.
Shoe singles.
Yeah.
We could be onto something. We'll talk about it more in the second half. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
It's a sweet bass riff through that. It's a great song.
It's a great song.
A lot of people
Really
like
good song.
people like horses, but I think that's what it is like. I think. One
Yeah, I
song's
think
put out.
Daryl's been hard done by being only remembered for horses. I think that's a superior track.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite have the cultural impact of horses, obviously.
No.
But yeah, I think it's a superior track.
And it's
What's
just
it called?
One summer.
One summer.
The one summer I found a way. So,
Yeah,
I've got the range for it. But yeah,
you've got the mange
the
for it.
range for it.
You mangy dog. I'm sorry, Nagy.
That's all right. I'll forgive
That was
you.
rude.
Now, welcome back to the second half.
It's good to be back.
There's we were just talking before, like obviously that song. It's in the summertime, and people do certain things. In one of those things that they do during this stupidly hot time of year is you get back together with family. And when you get back together with family, you tend to you'd be like, let's go out for a meal, as you do. Now we were just talking before how you realise that so you realise certain things as you're older. That's probably been happening your entire life. But typically, now, I'm not one of these people that will be, I'm sorry for anyone that feels gendered out there, but we have said that we do believe it's often women of a certain age. That
It is.
Now, and often mums do this. I know my
Mostly
mum,
mums.
My mum definitely does this. And you know what I'm going to say, Liam? It's the way they address wait staff.
It's terrible. It's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah. And
It
it's
destroys my faith in humanity.
and it's just a certain, and it's not,
It's women 35 to 55. No one else.
Yeah.
That's it.
look, but it's like,
The blokes of that age have just given up. They don't care.
yeah.
So
they
they'll
just-
just say to the waiter, just get me whatever, I don't mind.
there's certain,
Whereas the woman will say, get me everything that you own and I'm going to throw it in the bin, you suck.
there's a certain,
Also, I'd like chicken. It's terrible.
yeah, there's they throw in, the rudeness comes in the extra parts of the question. Like, it'll be like, oh, can we just order now, if that's all right? Like, and it's like, don't say if that's all right. Of course it's all right. This is part of the system. If that's okay. Like, and it's, so you've already taken them off. And, like, there's two kinds of, older males at the table, right? And it's either going to be, like, someone that's very prepared, like, and they're looking around, like, where's that waiter? Was that waiter coming back? Is she coming back out of the kitchen? And very eyes are all that one that's completely shocked when there's someone comes to the table. Like, 'cause they're just there. Yeah, they go, oh, Jesus. Carol, do you know what you're having? Because I was having what was I having again? Like, that's the guy I'll be.
That's the guy. You'll be that guy.
I can't talk to wait staff
But that's
at
all right. When I take you out for dinner, I'll have everything prepared. I'll have our order down pat. I'll have them pre-cut your meal. It's all good. I'll get it
You
covered.
have to get pre-cut it, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's I don't know. And
It's a funny thing.
honestly, it is a huge weight on my shoulders
Yeah.
because being spoken to like I'm an idiot multiple times
Being-
through a shift for the last 10 years,
being in the hospitality
it's
industry,
really,
yeah.
really grating.
Yeah.
Middle-aged women, get your shit together and start treating hospitality workers like human beings,
But
please.
there's another side of it that I've noticed with some people that I know. One being a big fan of the show, Reese Clancy.
Clance Dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Clance Dog. He's also
Clancy of the Overflow.
Yeah, yeah. I found he tended to, it probably still does. Reese, I know you're watching. There's a part where you'll talk to a person from a certain ethnicity with a little bit of the ethnicity himself. Now this came around when he was ordering sushi. And he's looking at me and he goes, I need some teriyaki. He goes, is there any teriyaki over there? I need some. He goes, and I was like, just ask for it. He goes, excuse me, can I please have some teriyaki? Thank you. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing to these people? Why are you talking to them like that?
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Reese.
And I said, what? And he goes, what?
Reese, come on.
Yeah, and then I thought it might have just been a sushi thing. I thought he might have been a bit out of his element or something, and he just panicked. But he didn't recognize it. But then, like, on another night, we went and ordered a kebab. Yeah, and he's just like,
Extra tabbouleh.
yeah, well, he's like, yeah, could I get a mixed, notable, extra cheese, yeah, cheers, bro. Yeah, $9.50, no worries. Like, and it's like, why are you talking to him like that?
It's like my grandmother in Beirut used to make it Fran Clancy. That old Arabian name, Fran Clancy.
Yeah, and it's like, why are you talking to the person like you're from Turkey now? But I think it's a polite thing. You feel like you're doing them justice.
But that's a bit misleading. You feel like you're doing them justice when in reality you're actually acting towards them in what would some say is a very racially insensitive manner.
Yeah.
So it's kind of two sides of the same coin.
Well, it's both like, but people are just blind to it, how they talk to the
Yes.
different way stuff. Because the middle-aged women will say like, oh no, I was very polite.
Oh, and they never are. It's a lie.
But then, and like people like Reese, and I know other people that do it as well. They'll be like, "Oh no, I wasn't talking to them any different." It's like you were talking to them completely differently how you speak usually. But no
You
one's
know
talking
what?
to them.
I think it's just it's a sign of the times. We just need to take a moment
Yeah,
to consider how we speak to our fellow man.
yeah,
And women. And women.
and women. Yeah, not that there's any difference between. We shouldn't speak to them any
No.
differently. No,
Speak to everyone the same, but speak to everyone nicely.
nicely. It doesn't hurt to be. What's the thing? It's never
Convivial.
It's always smart. No, it's nice to be smart, but it's always smart to be nice. No, that doesn't make
You
sense.
made that up. But it's a good
something like
saying.
that,
No,
yeah.
it is a good saying.
It's something
I'm
like
glad you made it up. But we'll slap a pattern on that saying and we'll get it on a shirt.
We'll get it. It'll be a
Come out soon.
hashtag nice to be smart. No, smart to be nice.
Hip to be fresh.
Hit to be square.
Square to be hip.
But
To be square to be square.
But that's one of the a common thing that comes around. You only just realize when you're older when you're out with your family. But there's other things too. When you decide to have a home sort of affair at your house, and you might invite some people around, and it's a good time to catch up, and there's some bottles to be drunk, and all cans, and all the recycling goods. But this poses a problem because you create so much more waste than you'd usually have on a week-to-week basis. So then it's the bin politics of the holidays.
Now, I'm glad you brought up the bin politics, Nagy, because I was discussing this with someone the other day. It got heated. I'll leave it at that, Nagy.
Okay,
Now,
yeah.
what are your thoughts on bin politics, mate?
Well,
Tell me.
it's that whole thing of you're going to fill up your bin, and hell, because you're off work a lot of the time, you might forget which days your regular bin days.
Easy to forget.
And so you've got all this rubbish. So it's like, is it all right if you maybe see another bin that's maybe pre-emptied or just been emptied? Whack a bit of garbage in your neighbour's bin. Is that all right? Is it?
I am all for it because at the end of the day, it's just rubbish.
A bin.
Someone I was talking to me the other day, and they'd taken their dog out for a walk, and as you do, the dog had
Does a poop
did a little poop.
Yeah.
You picked the poop up, and
with
put
a bag,
picked it up with the bag
Yeah.
over the hand, and then put it in a nearby bin that was out on the street
Yeah.
for collection. And the person whose house it was poked his head out the window and yelled at him and said, "Don't put shit in my bin." And I thought, that's just very petty.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all rubbish. It's all going to the same place.
Yeah.
Who cares whose rubbish is in whose bin?
What's the thing?
At the end of the day, it's not a big issue if you're... say you put your Canadian Club can in my bin.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about it.
No.
Because as long as it's ending up in a bin to go
Yeah.
to the tip, who cares whose rubbish ends up in what bin, Nagy?
In the end, it's all got to go into a bin. Whether
is.
whether it's be a large bin outside.
God's bin.
But
The landfill out at Summerhill.
I recently in Godsland, the greatest worshipping area of this great area. there was a time recently with our neighbours that the elderly neighbour that lives next door to us said that we had put our bin too close to hers, and
You have run that poor woman through the ringer, Nagy.
hers didn't get collected. So we're like, that's why I'm listening to her. I'm like, oh, okay, sorry, you didn't be. And so then she said, so could I just put my rubbish in your bin for the week?
Yeah, that's
And
seems reasonable.
And I said, oh, yeah, because I'm too nice of a guy. So I was like, oh, well, yeah, look, I don't see any problem with that. But then I just went inside, locked the door, and then we never exchanged rubbish because I think it's strange. She wanted us to, as the crow flies, our bins are only separated by, like, a semi-wall. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Wait, so she was
it's a
expecting
fence.
you to put her bin in your...
Yeah, well, yeah, but she wanted us to swap bins. So she had an empty bin, and we had, but it's like...
Oh, she wanted to do a whole bin swap? I
yeah.
thought she just wanted to put her future
Well-
rubbish in your bin.
Well, I think she did. No. She wanted us
She
to
wanted
hold
to swap
her
the bins.
for an additional week. Hold her rubbish for an additional week.
Well, that's ludicrous.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah, and
She's not keeping the wheelie bin in her house. It's not like it's stinking up the kitchen.
Well, yeah, where they're kept is the same spot, only separated by a fence. so it can't be a smell thing. Cause
People are morons.
people are, but you know, so
Except our dear listeners. Thank you for listening.
you're lovely,
You're wonderful.
people.
All beautiful.
But it's becoming a very strange time.
Yeah, and
But-
it's always around Christmas, you know, with the oddly scheduled pickup days.
Yeah.
Often, you know, you have the prawns and you want the prawns to be gone in a timely manner.
Yeah,
It seems to pop up only around Christmas.
yeah.
And then it just pops up with vengeance.
It
And then it returns from whence it came.
might be the heat as well. The heat brings
the
out some
heat.
funny things.
Ooh.
And I've noticed also around Christmas time because people receive
I'm sweating from my ribs today.
like on your actual ribs, or you've eaten ribs and it's making
No,
you
my
sweat?
ribs are sweating.
Your ribs are
They
sweating.
were yesterday and today.
That's an odd place to be sweating.
Terrifying.
That's
I don't know why.
I think it's the first sign of malaria. That my ribs go, and then it's like, you know, you get your feet
I
turn
haven't
blue
had my shots.
to be in this country. Why is it in other countries you need shots? We don't need shots. I suppose you
Probably
need
because
you need
we're in the
vaccinations to
first
come.
world.
You're the
Maggie.
first world.
Yeah,
so
we
it's
have-
only when you're visiting
The third.
the third. Where's the second world?
Well, I can tell you actually, the concept of the first, second, and third world came about during the Cold War. The first world was the countries aligned with the Western Bloc.
Yep.
Second world was the countries aligned with the Soviet Bloc. And the third world was basically anywhere else.
Yeah.
So that's most of the world.
Yeah.
Most of the world was basically considered too poor.
Too poor.
to be part of the Cold War.
That's right.
So that's a bit of an antiquated term, Nagy,
Yeah.
the first, second, and third world. But you never hear about the second world.
No.
Like, realistically, I guess if you were to go by the definition
Yeah.
that was set up, you'd go Poland would be the second world state. Russia, a second world country.
Yeah.
Kazakhstan,
Do-
Turkmenistan, all those former Soviet satellites.
Do they ever look
Second
like?
world
Let's say you're
countries.
living in communist China, right? And then in the 70s.
Well, see, now that's a different situation entirely. I think they exist outside the first, second, and third world system
Okay.
entirely.
Well, let's just
Because
say
they had a very isolationist viewpoint, the Chinese. They took help from the Soviets, but then Chairman Mao decided he didn't much care for the Soviets quite as much and established a much more self-sufficient China. So
Well-
I think China exists outside the framework of the first, second, and third world.
Do-
Please, listeners, correct me if I'm wrong. Though.
Do you think there's ever like places in the Soviet-controlled countries, and they're the USSR, and they're like, oh, if only I could run a business and purchase my own car, and they'll be like, and they go, oh, second world problems.
Oh boy, I had to line up for 2 hours for bread this morning. Second world problems.
It's
It's like you have the thing; it's just a mild inconvenience.
it's an inconvenience. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a structural inconvenience.
That's
due to the
interesting. Yeah,
system.
second world problems. Not quite first world problems, but far less, I guess, murderous than third world problems.
yeah. Not life or death.
They won't.
Inconveniences.
Yeah, but big inconveniences.
Big inconveniences.
But at the end of the day, mostly inconveniences.
It's not like I've gone on holidays and I can't get phone signal because that's a first world problem. But it's like
It's like I can't go on holidays. That's
yeah,
a second world
that's a
problem.
second world problem.
Third world problem will be I can't get water.
I can't get water. That's my problem.
That's a third world problem.
It's a bit of a dip there.
It's
Isn't
a big
it?
dip.
It's a bit
It's a
of
big
a
cut-off.
second and all the way
Well,
down.
then, I mean, you've got the second world problem of I disagree with the government, so I've been locked in jail for my whole life, despite never having said anything.
second world problems.
Second world problems.
There's, they're always cheerful about it too,
Very cheerful.
because they go, at least we're not in the third world.
Yeah.
There's speaking of all these lovely countries that make up this,
Beautiful world.
beautiful world that we live in. There's when we're receiving gifts during Christmas, I've noticed there's certain there's like a hierarchy of certain items that people sort of prefix with the country origin that they're from. Have you experienced this, Liam?
I have somewhat.
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, you wouldn't say I received bed sheets for Christmas, but you might say Egyptian cotton bed sheets. And it elevates us to this like new exciting product. But then if you use that same country, like that made the first item exotic, on a different item, not so good. It devalues it. If you say, you know, I just bought a new car, and they go, oh, really? Yeah, it's an Egyptian car.
I got a French champagne. Oh, sorry, I also got a French whippersnipper.
Yeah, yeah.
Who cares? No one wants a French whippersnipper.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like, I don't know, if you had like, oh, this is a painting, like, you know, say if it was like, oh, this is a machine, but it was like, you know, it's a German machine. It's like, oh, that's really
That's
nice.
very good quality.
But if you was like, you know, I went to the theatre and saw a German play, you'd be like, oh, that sounds a bit awful. You know, it's
Yeah,
like,
it would be pretty awful. But then again, Nagy, I think it all just comes back to certain countries are good at certain things.
What's a good, what do you reckon that there's places like,
A pub.
no, like,
I went to the Australian pub.
No, but if you were like
Oh.
away, like let's say you lived in Germany,
Yep.
and they go, and there's people handing this, they go, oh, it's Australian, oh, like, you know, that's my German. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's a German. It's an Australian wool.
Meat pie.
Yeah.
Actually, Australian wool's very good. We got the merino wool. That's very popular the world round. Uggs.
Uggs.
Uggs have taken the world by storm. That's known for Australia.
Didn't they?
Chronic alcoholism and cirrhosis of the
Cirrhosis of the liver, yeah.
That's taken the world by storm, mostly courtesy of Australia. Certain sexual diseases spread throughout Canada.
Syphilis.
Our fault. Chlamydia. That's.
Australian.
I know. There's one outbreak of chlamydia in Banff that was directly responsible to a person I know who will remain nameless.
One person created like a.
No, they just started off a little flare up, if you will, amongst the expat community.
God bless this country. Oh, look, and
Yeah, no, I won't mention his name, but.
please, let's get it out there. Use the initials. Then
No.
he'll know who he is. He already, like, if he's
The
listening,
damage is done.
he knows who he
The
is.
damage is done.
And there might be several lawsuits involved. like,
Absolutely, yeah. We're still under, you know, we're trying to wait out the statute of limitations before we reveal his name to the public.
But you know, it's a really it's a well not it's a questionable
Meat
time.
pies. No
Yeah.
other country has meat pies.
Yeah,
When I was in Canada, they'd never had meat pies until actually the Kiwis,
yeah.
a Kiwi mob introduced meat pies, and the people loved them. They went nuts for them.
Sub-Australians, Kiwis, aren't they? Like they're like, you know, they're only welcome in when we want them to. You know what I mean? Because they're always Kiwi people until they, you know, they're quite good at something.
Famous.
Yeah, and then they're Australian. We take them under our wing. But they make up so much of Australian culture. So many people that make up very Australiana stuff, especially singers and actors, weren't born here. Isn't that crazy?
Jimmy Barnes.
Jimmy Barnes was not born here.
The Finns.
The Finns were not born here either. Russell Crowe, Sam Neill, all these, like, you know, the blokes that you're like, yeah, these.
Well,
Australian-
no one wants to be from New Zealand. So if you get famous, you've got the money to change that.
James Rain wasn't born in Australia
I
either.
don't know who
And
that is.
He sung with
I sung
Australian Crawl. The band was called
Yes.
Australian Crawl, probably because he crawled here from another country. I think he was born in
How
South
my
Africa.
mother got here. She crawled here from Canada.
But I'm not sure. I'm not
It was
sure.
a
if
wet crawl.
What's that?
Well, the
like?
Australian crawl was the original name for the freestyle swimming stroke. So it
What's
makes
that?
sense that he would come over
Did we
by
invent
the
that?
Australian crawl. Yeah, it was called the Australian crawl. I don't know
Yeah.
if we invented it, but we named it.
It seems like the doggy paddle would be the freestyle. It's the go-to from someone who doesn't know how to swim. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it does.
because it, like,
But why does that come so instinctively to people
Yeah.
when it's clearly something that dogs do?
well, it's like half sort of. If you didn't know how to swim, like
You'd
half.
drown.
Well, yeah, but it's like half sort of like trying not to drown stroke, like because you're pushing a lot of water down
Yeah.
and sort of just keeping your head
You
up.
know what I learnt yesterday? Hippos don't swim. They just run along the bottom of the water.
That's brilliant.
And they go immensely quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they're so heavy they just sink and then run.
I noticed they
brilliant?
can close their nostrils like eyes.
Oh, that's genius.
Yeah. Why
I
don't
love
we?
a pet hippo.
Why doesn't like there's certain things. Obviously, people will say it's because, you know, we've never had to like be like involved in survival for our own like
Oh God, no.
thing. So it's like that's why we haven't developed any cool superpowers. But there's superpowers that animals have. That aren't-
Flying
Well, yeah, one that flying itself is pretty
is
amazing.
amazing.
Like and then but then there's things that you wouldn't expect. The like, you know, the funnel web spider, it bites you or I.
Dickheads.
And they're everywhere. Apparently, they're known as the Sydney funnel web because they only stretch from Sydney to like Taree. That's where they're found.
to Katara. Found
To
one in
Katara.
Katara once.
Well, they're everywhere. They're in the garden. But it's like they will kill a person in like under 20 minutes.
But that's the thing. I
But
think
we don't eat them. But
why would you eat them?
Well, no, but we don't. We're not a natural thing like of theirs to prey upon. But they can kill us. They won't eat us either. They'll just walk over our corpse. But like a duck, for instance, will eat a funnel web. Now,
Really?
the funnel web venom doesn't work on a duck. So it's just misguided powers that these.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Well, I think now that you've brought that up, I think humans' greatest superpower is the ability to trump any animal's superpower by just building something.
Building something
It's
to
like
kill it.
birds can fly. Oh, cool. You're one bird and you can fly maybe up above the roof. I can build a plane to fly 500 people up almost into space.
Yeah.
Eat a dick birds.
Yeah.
Same with funnel webs. It's like, oh, great, you're a funnel web. Your bite can, kill 20 people with venom?
Probably.
We can create poison so bad they can kill the earth.
And also, if we were just wearing like a good hefty shoe, we could just squash it.
Exactly, yeah. It's
It's-
all it takes, a shoe.
But there's
Like
other-
humans don't have superpowers except the one superpower to outdo every other animal's superpower by just building something or creating something.
But like there's ones that really stand out. Like, is venom
Like what
poison-
animal could do a podcast?
No, yeah. But probably. You give it, like,
and
maybe-
a lot better than us. Too.
yeah. But like an electric eel is pretty much a Pokemon, surely. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's just like this animal that can just generate an electric shock.
Hear about the pistol shrimp?
Please,
It's a little
Chef.
shrimp and it's got these two claws and it pulls the claws back.
Yeah.
And using the power of kinetic energy and super ligaments, it shoots its claw out at like the speed of sound and boils the water around it. And
big
it
are they?
punches people. Not people, it punches things.
Yeah.
And it knocks them out and then eats them.
See, that
They're
would
tiny.
and that so just like stuns
That's
them.
a superpower.
Yeah, that is. Everything has a superpower except us, and it's like, oh, don't get them too close because it'll give you a good punch. Like, you know, it's like, and like, you know.
But again, we have the superpower to build enormous mechanical punching things that could knock a building over.
but you know,
So that's better.
a
The
punch-
pistol shrimp sucks.
yeah, the pistol. Only in comparison, but
That's what everyone, that's why I don't much care for the environment. Everyone goes, oh no, we need to save the environment. We need to protect these animals.
Yeah.
No, if humans can adapt to do everything that animals do better than animals need to get their goddamn game together. Sort your shit out, nature.
Now, it sounds like you're encouraging the superpower evolution. This sounds like
Yeah, exactly. We evolved pretty good
Yeah,
to be better than everything.
yeah. But it sounds like you're just egging them on. Like, come on, if you want. Like,
Absolutely. I'd love to see the environment, really step its game up, get level pegging with humans
Yeah.
and say, all right, let's do this together. But at the moment, I don't see what the environment's giving back. It's not putting in.
It's not putting in. It's really got to lift its game. I received a question earlier in the week. And would you prefer to be involved in a zombie apocalypse or an alien invasion?
Alien invasion.
Yeah, so this is the person. It was Tim Raytano.
Hello, Timmy.
That asked this question, and he was on the side of that. He was like, no, I prefer zombies. I was like, no, because anyone could be a zombie.
Exactly. I just feel like aliens would be more interesting.
Well, if you wanted something that could really unite the world, is you have a third party or
Exactly.
second party. That's just like that's going to be like everyone's going to be like, oh fuck these guys.
Well, and it comes back to the classic conundrum you see in every zombie movie where the zombies, stumbling towards you and you're like, oh, I can't kill him. He used to be my brother.
Yeah.
If it's an alien, you look over there and your brother's over there or dead.
Dead.
But you look at the alien and you're like, well, he's never been related to anyone I know.
Bang. I've got no.
Bang,
Yeah.
done.
And then they're
No
invading.
qualms.
Yeah, they're invading. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's all for one. You see,
Whereas
another-
the zombie, it's not an invasion. It's not their choice to have been infected or killed or whatever particular mythology you ascribe
Those
to the
zombies,
zombies.
yeah.
It's not their choice. Whereas the aliens, they're clearly the aggressors in the situation.
We had a zombie plan at the first house that we moved out of. That I was living in Mayfield with a couple of friends.
Clothes pile.
With Timmy Ray and Billy Barton and Rob Costa. There was a bunch of us there. We all not Timmy Ray, he wasn't there. Anthony Hickling. Anyway, it was another different red-headed bloke.
Terrible. House.
Terrible. Yeah. I know it was just constantly filled with blokes with red hair. But it was but we had this thing. It was like, what do we do? It was like, well, all the houses were quite close together, so it was like, if we just leave a ladder, right, up to the roof at all stages, right, that we could get up to the roof. And this is like slow-moving zombies. It's not like running crazy zombies.
They just pull the ladder up.
You pull the ladder up, then you're on the roof, gives you some time. But it's the extendable ladder, so you can go to the next roof over, and then you can move and you make your way. For some reason, you want to make your way for the train tracks.
I made my way to the pub.
A lot of the
Like in the movie.
like in the film.
Oh, I forgot about the movie.
A lot of those relied on that. One, the trains would still be running, and we could get to the train tracks and jump on. And two, the train would take us somewhere that's safer than the house. But it was a plan that we all had.
But that's good. That's a good friendship bonding exercise.
Yeah.
You know, completely useless plan.
Yeah, yeah.
But as an exercise to bring friends together, did a good thing. It did a good thing.
Building a fort inside when you're an adult is also very
Awesome.
good. Awesome. Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
A lot of people think you stop doing it when you're
Nah.
like, no, but it's like I was doing it with Rob Costa, just moved in many years ago, and he was like, he was like, he was like, what do you want to do? I was like, let's build a fort and eat some donuts. And he's like, I don't know if I want to do that. And so I just made a fort, and then I was like, come on.
Did he come in?
Yeah, he came in.
Oh.
And then reluctantly, I think he thought I was going to make a move on him. Turned into more of a rape fort. No, I didn't that night, but
No, not that night.
but no, it's very fun. Sheet forts, blankets and pillows and whatnot. And you
What
build
is camping inside when you set up a tent in the living room?
yeah, and then you can just go to bed at the end.
Yeah.
Which is the better part of camping because camping sucks.
It does. Especially wake you up. Oh.
Oh, it's 4 a.m. when the sun beams
Oh.
in, and then it's just sand. Little bit of
Everywhere.
sand gets everywhere. I hate camping just as much as the next fat bloke. Thank you so much for joining me again, Liam.
As the next fat bloke, thank you for having me, Nagy.
We'll do this all again very, very soon. Please like us on Facebook and listen to us
The
on
pipes.
on SoundCloud and iTunes. All the pipes. And we'll be back very, very, very soon. Way too soon for everyone's liking. Liam, thank you very much.